what if you could just walk up to self-made billionaires on the street and ask them for their secrets? Well, that's exactly what happened in Scottsdale, Arizona, one of America's richest cities. We're about to distill all that raw, unfiltered advice into a powerful blueprint for success. Let's get into it. Boom! Right out of the gate, we get a statement that just completely flips conventional wisdom on its head. The author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the one and only Robert Kiyosaki, was asked if college is a scam. His answer? A flat-out, no hesitation, of course. That really sets the tone for what we're about to unpack. Straight-up, unfiltered advice from the ultra-successful. Now, to make sense of all this incredible advice, we've broken it down into 6 key pillars. First, we'll decode Scottsdale itself. Then, we'll dive deep into the winner's mindset. After that, we'll cover their totally unique financial playbook, the operator's edge, the power of people, and finally, what they say is the real goal beyond all the money. This is their blueprint. Okay, first up, decoding Scottsdale's wealth. The mission here was simple. Go to a city that has one of the highest concentrations of millionaires and billionaires on the entire planet and uncover their secrets. But you know what's funny? This was way harder than it sounds. The interviewer quickly found that getting these super wealthy folks to even stop and talk was a huge challenge. I mean, a lot of them are really private, they just walked away. So that makes the advice we did get that much more exclusive and valuable. And that brings us to the very first pillar. And honestly, it's the foundation for everything else. Adopting a winner's mindset. See, before we even talk about money or strategy, there's this core psychology that all of these individuals share. It's not really about the money. It's about winning. Robert Kiyosaki put this so bluntly, it's kind of shocking. He asked the interviewer, who was the first person to fly across the Atlantic? The answer's easy, Charles Lindbergh. Then he asked, okay, who was second? Nobody knows. Nobody cares. His point is brutally clear. You have to play to be number one. That is the only goal that matters. And it's not just Kiyosaki. This exact same idea came from another billionaire, Matt Ishbia, who owns the Phoenix Suns. He says he was never chasing money, he's chasing winning. He wants to be known as the best mortgage professional ever, the best NBA owner ever. For him, money is just the scoreboard. It's not the game itself. So the common thread here, the big takeaway, is that the core driver for these people isn't just piling up cash. It's this deep, burning desire to compete, to absolutely dominate their field, and to be the undisputed best. The dollars are just a side effect of that obsession. So if you've got this winner's mindset, how does that actually translate into your bank account? Well, that brings us to the contrarian financial playbook. And trust me, it's called that for a reason. It's almost always the complete opposite of what most of us were ever taught about money. Just look at this contrast. On the left, you've got the classic Main Street advice, right? Save your money, avoid all debt, live within your means. We've all heard it. But then look at the billionaire's playbook. It's like a different universe. You can't save your way to wealth. You use debt as a tool, and you live beneath your means so you can reinvest every spare dollar. Real estate billionaire Kendall Croy doesn't mince words. He calls saving money the worst financial advice out there. Why? Simple. Inflation. If your savings account is giving you, 1 or 2%, but inflation is running at 3%, you're literally losing money every single day. Your cash is just melting away. So if saving is a bad move, what's the alternative? Well, this is where the idea of good debt comes in. Robert Kiyosaki says that for people who are financially educated, debt is money. The whole idea is to borrow money to buy assets, things like real estate or a business that then produce more cash than what you owe on the loan. But, and this is a huge but, he also warns that debt is like a loaded gun. It's incredibly powerful, but it's also incredibly dangerous if you don't know exactly how to use it. And if you want to see the sheer power of this strategy, look no further than Matt Ishbia. For decades, he lived way beneath his means. In a year his company made $60 million, he paid himself less than $1 million and poured the other $59 million right back into the business. By constantly betting on himself and compounding those reinvestments, his company eventually hit over $3 billion in revenue in a single year. That's the power of this playbook. Okay, so we've moved from mindset to financial theory. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty, the practical stuff. Section 4, Mastering the Operator's Edge. This is all about the daily habits and principles that actually build and scale these massive empires. We heard from a tech founder who built his company to be worth over $100 million. And he laid out this really clear path to scaling. Number 1, get out of your own way. Number 2, build your processes proactively, for the growth you haven't even had yet. And number 3, be ready for scale before it ever hits you. He said most people are reactive. The winners build the highway before the traffic ever shows up. And get this, he said he learned his most valuable leadership lessons from the single worst boss he ever had. He just watched everything that guy did wrong and decided to do the exact opposite. So his rules became, never ignore talented people. When you hire experts, actually listen to them. Don't tell them what to do. And never use intimidation. Just focus on what's best for your customers and your team. Simple, right? Matt Ishbia gave us another core operating principle, and it's a simple one: speed. He says money loves speed, and that if you look at successful people, they have a habit of responding instantly. They get an email, they get a text, they handle it, solve the problem, and move on. It's about maintaining this constant, relentless sense of urgency. All right, our next pillar might just be the most important one of all: leveraging the power of people. A crystal clear message from every single person interviewed was that success is not a solo sport. Your network, your mentors, they are your single greatest assets. Ken Melroy said it perfectly. Your circle of friends is bigger than your paycheck. I mean, think about that. It echoes exactly what Robert Kiyosaki said about only surrounding yourself with winners. The people you spend your time with will either pull you up to their level or drag you down to theirs. So the key is to actively go out and find these people. Ken McRoar's advice is to find a mentor who has actually done what you want to do. He says most people are just too scared to ask, but if you have the guts to walk up to someone you admire and just offer to buy them a cup of coffee, they almost always say yes. It's a bold move, and it shows you're serious. And that brings us to our final section, which is about the big picture, the real goal. After all the talk about strategy and winning and tactics, what's it all for? What are you actually working towards? And this final piece of advice from billionaire Matt Ishbia really brings it all home. He says, money is not the end-all be-all. Happiness is the goal. Go be happy. He gets that money can make being happier easier, but it is so crucial not to confuse the tool, which is the money, with the real prize, which is just a happy, fulfilling life. So there you have it. That's the blueprint, straight from the streets of Scottsdale. A relentless focus on winning, a financial playbook that goes against the grain, an operator's edge built on systems and speed, and a deep, deep reliance on the power of people, all in service of a happy life. It really just leaves one question. You've heard their secrets. What's the one you're going to act on first?